Welcome to True Vine Talks with Rachel and Linda. We took a little break during the Thanksgiving holiday, a little rest during the COVID and all the quarantine we're all kind of trying to navigate right now. Positive note, we got vaccines on the way and
Yay.
start taking them. Yeah, get us all immunized or whatever you call it. I'm not no medical person. Um, so Rachel and I have been processing what is pertinent and what we're hearing with our teens in therapy. And it's just so important to express this topic. I can't emphasize enough that as a teenager, your brain is firing off very quickly with several hormones. Now, I'm not bright enough to tell you what those are right now. Rachel, do you know which hormones? I don't want to put you on the spot, but is it dopamine and serotonin?
Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah, because when your progesterone's up, your serotonin's wacky doodle. If your testosterone's up, you've got an increase in dopamine. So it's hard to make good decisions as a teenager.
Right. And the prefrontal cortex that's involved in decision making and morals, knowing the difference between right and wrong, controlling impulses, it's not fully developed until your mid 20s. So teens are struggling and they don't have the full capacity to be able to do those things that they need to be able to do.
Yeah, full capacity. They're not able to always control the choices, that are before them.
Right.
Going to a party that has alcohol and weed and girls and boys sounds like a good idea. And then when you get there, are you able to say no to certain things that might show up? Sex, illicit drugs, that kind of thing. Well, more than likely, it's going to be very hard to say no when you're in that environment and your peers are pressuring you and the girl over there's cute and you want to talk to her, but you don't have the guts. You want to drink.
Yeah.
So,
and Dan Siegel talks a lot about neuroscience with teenagers and how they have this like drive for fun and excitement. And so even though the list of cons may be lengthy and they're aware of all the cons and how things could go wrong, if fun and excitement is on the pros side of the list, chances are they're all in.
They're going for it, aren't
They'll
they?
take the risk.
Yeah. They're going for it. They're not even going to contemplate what would this do long term to me if I have unprotected sex and I do these drugs and alcohol and forget where I was, get behind the wheel. I mean, yeah, because the brain, like you said, Rachel, isn't fully developed for making good choices all of the time. And that's okay. It's kind of like an out, a pass, or not getting it right all the time as a teenager, because you won't get it right. Now, you've got boundaries, you keep your children in boundaries, and there's limits, of course, and you are going to mess up as a teenager. You're not going to get it right.
No.
You're going to do impulsive things, hopefully within a safe environment with safety protocols.
Yeah, and hopefully learning from the mistakes.
Yes. The hardest part about being a parent of a teenager is allowing for him to fall.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so with all of this that we're talking about, the impulsiveness and the difficulty, knowing how to make the right choice, making a lot of mistakes, we've noticed that, particularly now, a lot of teens are struggling emotionally. Yeah. And they don't always feel like they can talk to their parents or adults, right? And naturally development as a teenager, your peers become the most important people in your life. It switches from childhood, it's your immediate family is most important. That's who you go to. And then naturally in adolescence and young adulthood, it changes to our same age peer group. Right?
Yeah.
They become our source of reason and support. And so that's who they go to with problems and concerns, with emotions.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But what we're seeing happening is with technology, there is being a lot shared that puts their peer, their friend, girlfriend, boyfriend in a very difficult situation, right? Such as sharing thoughts of suicide or, intent to self-harm. Can become very stressful for that friend who's now involved. Responsible.
You're right.
For the health, the well-being, and safety of this person that they care about.
Yes, exactly. So as a peer, your friend comes to you and says, Rachel, I am just so miserable and so sad. I'm ending my life tonight.
I'm instantly in panic mode. Oh my gosh. Right?
How come?
Right. Well, I go into fight or flight. I realize that this friend, this person that I care about is in danger and they might take their own life. And I'm the only person that knows about it. And so that makes me now responsible for making sure that this doesn't happen.
And you're 13 or 14.
Right.
15.
Yeah. That's heavy, weight. That's a lot of stress to have placed on you. Responsibility of someone's life. Wow.
Yeah. Very good point. So what happens for you is you're in fight or flight, and I'm over here drowning in my sorrow as a teenage girl, if I were a teenager. And I'm like, who's going to help me? Does anyone care? And so, of course, if you're the only attachment I have, I'm going to reach for you.
Right.
And then that puts something on you, a burden that's way more heavy than what you just shared with us earlier, Rachel. Is your brain ready for that?
No.
As a 13 or 15-year-old girl?
Absolutely not.
Well, why not, Rachel? I thought you went to school already. I know you haven't even been to college, but why not?
Yeah.
Why can't you hold my pain like that? And what would you say?
Well, I think it would be natural as a teenager to start, firing back texts like, no, don't do that. Like, everyone would miss you so much. You're so beautiful and smart. And, I'm trying to give you all the compliments. Right? But that is not what you really need to hear.
Nope.
And you need a lot more help and assistance than I at 13, 16 can offer you. You need professional help.
Yeah. And that's sad that your friend is hurting like that. It puts you in a trap.
Yeah.
Because you're only 13, 14, 15, and now you've got to make a decision, which you just said, a thoughtful decision about future events.
Right.
For a teen. What's going through your mind?
Yeah. Which is extremely tricky as a teenager because, like I already said, the prefrontal cortex is not fully developed yet. It's still growing and building, right? And now that you've thrown this life-changing, life-threatening situation on me, I am in fight or flight, which means that what little I have of my prefrontal cortex, what has grown, goes offline and I can't even access it. Because I'm just in survival mode.
That's insightful, Rachel. Okay, so teens, if you're listening to us, we hope you do.
Yeah.
Rachel's saying, in other words, and I'm gonna let her say it.
Right.
Go ahead, Rachel. What you just
The-
said was perfect.
Oh, okay, help me out. So the area of your brain that is responsible for making good decisions and problem solving, when
Mhm.
you're in a high stress, high emotion state, right? You're worried, you're scared, you're terrified, which you naturally would be if someone shares with you that they're about to end their life or thinking about it, right?
Mhm.
That area that you need the most to help you make a decision offline,
Offline. I like how you did
offline,
that.
which means you cannot access it in that moment, right? The
So
area,
how are you gonna help me?
the area that takes over, yeah, is the fight or flight response, which is only concerned about survival. And so that's why your heart starts racing fast and you feel your stomach drop because your body is pushing blood out away from your torso into your arms and legs so that it can prepare you to fight for your life or run for your life.
Mm.
Okay, because that part of our brain hasn't really caught up to 2020. It's very old. Think of it as like the caveman or lizard part of your brain, right?
Mhm.
So when it senses danger, it thinks I'm about to be attacked by a grizzly bear.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm. Well stated. Thank you, Rachel. And so you're holding all that and you're in fight or flight. So how in the world, Rachel, can you help me in my depression and my suicidality? How can you possibly help me when you're in fight or flight and you can't access good decision making in that moment for me?
Yeah,
How you gonna do that?
I can't.
Okay, tell our
Can't do
teens.
it. Yeah. It's impossible for anyone at any age to be helpful or productive or reassuring when you're in a terrified, scared, overwhelming emotional state. It's
Mhm.
impossible. The areas of your brain needed to be empathetic and compassionate and make a good decision and help problem solve are not accessible.
Yeah, not accessible. So when your friend comes to you and they say, I'm suicidal, I'm going to end my life tonight, you're going into, yeah, there it went, freeze. What?
Yeah.
Huh? I love my friend. I don't want to lose them. What do I do? I can't even access that part.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
If your brain were a car, it just slammed on its brakes and the airbag went off.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You're not, no more movement, not getting anywhere.
So teens, don't ask your friend to help you with something this heavy because they can't. They can't. And Rachel and I have been in this working with kids for a long time. And even we get our systems go haywire when someone shares that with us.
Oh,
We gotta,
absolutely.
yeah.
Right? You naturally, oh, I am now responsible for
Yep.
making sure that this person does not end their life.
Hey guys, that's heavy. That's a heavy responsibility on anyone.
Right? So
Heavy.
it's important to find the right person, right, to help you carry that heavy burden, right?
Mhm.
Your friends love you, they care about you, they adore you, they're so kind and compassionate, when you go to them with other things. But something as heavy as you thinking about or having a desire to take your own life, that needs to go to someone that's capable of helping you carry that burden. And that person is a trusted adult, someone who has a full prefrontal cortex and is going to be able to access it more quickly after the initial shock, right? Because it's going to shock people to hear that.
Mhm. Well stated.
Because they care. It's going to shock them because it's scary, because
Mhm.
they care about you and they don't want you to end your life. They want to do everything within their power to help you.
Mhm. Yeah. So we'll say it again. Teens, don't share something this heavy with someone your age. And don't feel like you are responsible when your teen friend or a kid shares that with you. Go straight to the nearest adult, 25 or older. They have the frontal lobe to handle this.
Yeah.
We're driving that home today because Rachel and I have been experiencing a lot of our young people trying to be each other's counselor. What's the problem with that?
Yeah.
What's the problem with trying to be a counselor to your friends?
I don't, I, well, I mean, to become a counselor or a therapist, there's a lot of education involved. And I will tell you that one of the first things that my professors in the counseling program told me was, even as an adult sitting in a master's level college course, they looked at us and they said, don't ever try to counsel a friend or a family member.
Exactly.
Don't ever try to do it, right? A classroom full of individuals who are passionate about mental health, who are empathetic,
Mm.
that want to help. They looked us all in the eye and said, don't ever try to counsel a friend or a family member because you can't do it.
Mm-mm.
Right? Why can we not do it? Because
Good
we
question.
can't be non-judgmental. We can't be non-judgmental and we can't be unbiased. We can't help from taking a side when it's someone that we care about. We're naturally going to take a side.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Our feelings are naturally going to become involved.
Oh,
We
yeah.
won't be able to separate ourselves from them.
Very well stated. Your attachment system goes online for that person. It's over. You're not making the best decisions for them. For you, maybe.
Right. Yeah. You're involved. You're involved in that person's life.
Blurred boundaries, man.
Yeah.
You know, I've done a podcast on boundaries. That's a no-go. You're right. You can't separate that you have history with that person. You can't separate that you're not going to judge their behavior or judge what they're saying to you. This is no, it's not going to work like that. And so as a teenager, you can't counsel your friends. This takes a lot of brain power and maturity to do what we do. And I'm not being, I humbly take this responsibility from the Lord. Like you do too. I mean, this is hard stuff, guys. Being a counselor, it's hard work. And sometimes you don't even sleep. Okay. When you're worried about your client, you don't sleep.
Yeah. But I can't counsel my friends either.
No.
I do this as a career, as a job. This is my profession. I can't counsel my friends. I can't counsel my sister. I can't counsel my parents. I can't do it because I'm totally, completely biased.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what happens to them because of that attachment affects me deeply.
Mm.
Right?
To your soul.
Yeah. If someone's mean and nasty to my sister, I get angry.
Oh, yeah.
I can't be a good counselor if I'm angry.
No.
Right? It gets in the way. So it's impossible to be a counselor therapist to people that, are your family and friends. You've got to be unbiased.
Yeah. So as a teenager, your brain is not wired for this heavy of a load. So we want to stress that. That is just not going to work. Oh, we did number one, didn't we, Rachel?
Yep. Yeah.
So, friendship versus being in a black hole. I like physics and science. I'm not very bright in it, but I like it. Black hole is what?
Just all consuming, just sucks everything in, destroys it.
Yeah. You ever been in a relationship where you feel like you're drowning or you're in a black hole?
We're just
Oh,
being drained, constantly
oh,
emotionally drained. Right.
I've been used in this way.
Used. Yeah.
Have you
Yeah.
been used? Yeah.
Yeah.
Meaning it wasn't a clinical situation for which I was the friend and became the black hole. I went into the black hole trying to pull them out. This was prior to me being licensed and mastery and all this. This was, oh, I'm young and I can help everyone. No,
Yeah.
you can't help your friends.
Yeah.
So a friendship looks very different than you being someone's black hole or being dumped on.
Yeah. And I want to make something clear.
Mm-hmm.
When we say you can't help, we mean you cannot, you know, you're not responsible for making sure that they feel happier, not responsible for curing their depression or anxiety or any other mental health issues they might be experiencing, right? You can be supportive. That's different,
Mm-hmm.
right? Anyone can be supportive and empathetic and understanding, right? Be a good listener. But we're here trying to make sure that you're not used and you're not taken advantage of, and you're not ever put in a situation where there's a lack of boundaries and people are just dumping all of their stuff on you, expecting you to take it away or make it go away or make it better in some way. That's what we mean by helping.
Thank you for the clarification, Rachel. Yes, you always go to an older, wiser other. That's emotionally focused therapy, family model. I think it's a model for life. Go to the older, wiser other and ask them to help you help your friend, and they'll get them to the right people.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's a perfect example of support, right? Hey, here I got online and here's a list of therapists in the area, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you tell their parent too.
And
If
tell
you
their
you
parents.
you absolutely, if you're a friend and your friend is Snapchatting you at 1 a.m. at night and you're sitting there getting all worked up in the fight or flight, you're being used as an emotional counselor in that moment, and it's interfering with your well-being because you're a kid. You don't know, you can't do this. Like, this is too much. Then you need to go to your parent and have them call their parents and have them call a licensed counselor.
Right.
That's you being a good friend.
Yes. Yes. That's being a good friend and being supportive.
Yeah. Very good. Yes. Thank you, Rachel, for clarifying. How do you know when a friendship isn't equal exchange anymore? Like it's become something else, Rachel? What do you?
Yeah. I think, an equal exchange is, I share something about me, right? And you share something about you. And it's on
Mm-hmm.
the same level, right? But when it becomes one person sharing and sharing and sharing, and you can't get a word in, or when you share something about you, it's dismissed and it doesn't matter, it's brushed off or ignored, right? That's not an equal exchange, right? This is, I am now your dumping ground, so you're not available for me to share my experience and my emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So the scale gets tipped.
I mirror back what Rachel's doing. That's how I have a learning challenge. So if you guys ever see me doing that, that's what I'm doing. So Rachel's very compassionate towards that, my learning challenges. And so what she's saying is so true. If I call you up and I say, hey, how was your weekend, Rachel? Yeah, say we're teenagers. Let's be teenagers, teeny boppers.
Like,
Rachel, how was your weekend?
oh, this is good. It was okay. I didn't really go anywhere, but just hung out at the house, played with the dog, made some TikTok videos. Yeah, what did you do?
Oh yeah, I did make a TikTok video and someone said something kind of nasty about me. They said I look fat. You know, I just get sick and tired. We're going into role play, by the way. I just get sick and tired of people making comments. Who's the judge of who's fat and who's not? It just really brought me down, my self-esteem. And I just don't even know if I could be here anymore. I don't even know.
Oh my gosh, that's so rude. Who said that? You're not fat at all. You're so pretty.
Thank you. Yeah, so some boy, you know.
Boys are jerks.
Total jerks. Now, notice how I'm making it all about me. I've also overshared some things about what that's making me feel. And as a friend, what are you feeling right now?
Feeling like I don't know what to say and that I'm concerned that you might be thinking about killing yourself. I don't know how to ask or say anything about that.
Is it your place to ask? Is that your ownership as my friend, as a teenage friend?
No.
No. No. Man, Linda, maybe you should call a counselor or tell your mom and dad that you're struggling. Yeah, that's a boundary that you would set. It's not your job to hold that. That's putting a lot of ownership on you as a friend. So you're oversharing. When you're a teen and you're sharing that you're feeling like you don't want to exist anymore and you might end your life to another teenager, that's you crossed the line too, in a sense. You may not have known that, and that's okay, because sometimes you only have your friends, right? Yeah. And so it's just so important that you go to a wiser, older, other adult, have them know what's happening with your friend, and of course, have them call their parents and let their parent take ownership for your friend's mental health. Not you're not owning someone else's mental health. You can't. There's no way to do that.
Right. So, I mean, examples of the wiser older other would be parent, grandparent, aunt or uncle, teacher, school counselor, coach, you know. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing those examples. That is, in the last one we sort of had done, how do you know when you are being dumped on? How do you know when well, we just gave you a role play, an example of what that looks like. And Rachel did a good job of clarifying, go to the coach, go to the teacher, go to the parent, go to the nearest adult, 25 or older. You know, they can be in their 20s too. They can be early 20s, but go to an adult, someone over 19 preferably. And I'm not saying there aren't some mature young people. I know a lot of mature teenagers. They amaze me. I learn from them. And what Rachel said earlier, that part of your brain's not ready to make a decision for your friend. That's just too much.
Yeah. And that's normal. That as a teenager, your brain shouldn't be prepared to make that kind of decision. Right? This is for all people between the ages of like 13 and 21, right? Adolescence and young adulthood. It's not specific people. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with your brain. Your brain's right where it needs to be. for your age, and it's just not capable of that kind of pressure and stress to handle. Right? You got enough pressure and stress going on, especially right now with school being crazy because of the pandemic, not getting to see your friends in person as much as you would like, expectations of getting chores and homework and stuff accomplished. You got enough stress in your life as a teenager, right? Trying to fit in.
Yeah. Trying to make sense of your new world online.
Right.
Where do we fit in the global community of online as a people, as a community?
Yeah.
Strange. So taking on your friends' emotional, mental health, you're not ready. And that's okay. You're not ready.
Yeah.
Hey, why do they make us do a master's program, a practicum, and an internship before we get here? Well,
Right.
how old do we?
Before we're ready.
Yeah. We're hitting 25 or older by the time we're finished with all this education. What is it, 8 years we spent, Rachel?
Yeah. It takes a long time. Right? But I hear a lot of adolescents, young adults, when I ask them what prevents you from going to an adult to talk about these things, right?
Good question.
They share, a lot of the times they share, well, I feel like the only people that get me and really understand are my friends, because they're going through the same things, right? Like my parents, they don't get it. They don't understand. Okay. They may not understand. Help them understand. Explain what it's like for you to them. They want to understand.
And that gets into parent ownership. Don't be quick to judge or belittle your younger person because you're not hearing them have a real concern. And if that adult doesn't respond in the way you feel they need to, go to another adult.
Exactly. Yeah.
I want to drive it home again before we end the podcast, if Rachel's okay with that.
Yeah.
You as a teenager are not responsible for your friend's mental health. If they share with you that they're having depression, suicidality, anxiety, or cutting, or anything of that nature, you are to reach out to an adult and tell them your concerns, and then have that adult tell their guardian and go from there. If you can't find a guardian, dial 911.
Yes, 100%.
911 every time.
The parents of your friend need to know that that what they're telling you. And if you can't contact the parents, then 911 and give them the address.
Yeah, because we know you can look up the address on Google. Y'all smart. Y'all smart. This generation is smart and savvy on that technology. So, Rachel, do you feel like this was a helpful topic today?
I hope so. I really hope so. Yeah, because I think this is happening a lot. Yeah. And, and this is not meant to shame or hurt the feelings of anyone that has ever expressed that to their friend. Like, when we don't know who else to go to, we go to our safest, most trusted person. That makes so much sense to me, right? But now you do know that even though your safest, most trusted person might be your best friend or your boyfriend or your girlfriend, with something this serious, right? As a teenager, an adolescent, a young adult, the person that you need to go to is your parents or a trusted adult.
Excellent. Thank you, Rachel. And I hope all of you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Rachel and I probably won't do another podcast till after the new year. And we hope that you enjoyed it and you glean from it. Our email is truevinewestvirginia@gmail.com. Well, truevinewv@gmail.com. If you want to inquire about therapy. Rachel is currently not able to see any clients. She's completely booked up because she's so good. So We appreciate you and we thank you, and stay safe out there.
Bye.
Bye.